KREM 2 News begins now.
It's been a busy news week in Spokane and the rest of the Inland Northwest. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 Plus for Week in Review. I'm Tim Pham. Here now is a look at some of the biggest news stories from this past week.
Well, Paul and Sandy Vetter say they can't make sense of this tragedy because their daughter was always so focused on safety. They now want to know what went wrong, but getting answers today has not been easy.
He was barely able to talk, and he just says, I don't know how to tell you this.
Paul and Sandy Vetter got a call this afternoon from their daughter's fiance, a call that's changed their lives forever.
And he just said there was an accident on the job site where Anna was working, and she's gone.
Their daughter, 27-year-old Anna Vetter, had been working on an expansion project at the Spokane Tribe Casino for the last few months after becoming a journeyman carpenter.
So I'm so excited about, being in Spokane and being a part of the union, and as she gets up at the crack of dawn and goes to these job sites, and she just loves it.
Anna was also engaged and had just bought a home in 9 Mile Falls. She loved the outdoors, her fiance, and 4 dogs. Her dad says she never took a shortcut when it came to safety.
Safety was one of her major things, and for this to happen is just devastating.
Around 9:30 this morning, 911 dispatchers received multiple calls about a collapse at the construction site.
It looks like we have 4 collapses in an elevator shaft. We have 1 unresponsive female trapped right now.
Copy, 1 unresponsive female elevator shaft.
Many casino guests reported hearing the disaster.
I don't think I've ever heard anything that loud before. It sounded like an explosion, just really loud, and the ground shook.
Swinnerton Construction is building the expansion and says crews experienced a formwork collapse. Formwork is the mold used to form concrete into structural shapes. No other workers were hurt.
We want to keep the family in our thoughts and prayers, and all the construction workers.
At 5 this evening, nearly 8 hours after their daughter was killed, Paul and Sandy said they had still not received a call from authorities or the construction company letting them know about Anna. Their future son-in-law was the one to tell them. KREM 2 has also reached out to authorities for more information about the incident. We're still waiting to learn more.
We've learned more from your coverage than anything we've learned from any direct information.
They still have a lot of questions and want people to remember their daughter, who they say helped pave the way for other women working in construction.
Whenever she kind of met a challenge, she would, buckle down and work through it.
And we also reached out to the Department of Labor and Industries. They told us investigations like this can be complex and could take 6 months to complete.
The construction site behind me has been quiet for hours. I've been here since about noon, and only periodically I've seen what I assume are investigators in yellow vests who are now working to piece together what happened to Anna Vetter. What was a busy construction site is now the site of an investigation into how a formwork collapse took the life of Anna Vetter.
She was a delight to be around. And she was inspiring to a lot of people.
Tony Edwards says Anna was new to the Spokane area, but already was becoming involved in the local carpenters union.
Volunteering her time helping out paint our meeting hall, the inside of our meeting hall.
Edwards says Anna was a strong advocate for the construction industry and a mentor to her sisters in the field.
She testified in Olympia in favor of a House bill that would have expanded apprenticeships to, or rather pre-apprenticeship programs to high schools throughout Washington state.
Swinnerton, the construction company working on the casino expansion where Vetter was killed, tells KREM 2 the site will be closed through the weekend so investigators can do their work. The company says that inquiry will take time, and it's not yet known if it'll cause delays in the project. More importantly, though, is finding out just what happened to Anna.
The membership has really been reaching out to us, and they want to do something, they want to help.
Carpenters Local Union 59 is holding a vigil Thursday night to honor and remember Anna and all she did to make a place for women in construction. And here's the details of that vigil. It is Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Union Meeting Hall. That is at 127 East Augusta Avenue in Spokane. And the public is invited to come and remember and honor Anna. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Anna Vetter was the kind of person you wanted to have on your team. She was always in a positive attitude. She was a strong leader and very passionate about being a carpenter. That's the legacy she leaves behind.
In the construction industry, you never know who you'll meet at a new job site. So it's nice when you find a familiar face.
There's so many people that I've met through this that are just, they're great.
Missy Barnaby says Anna Vetter became a familiar and friendly face over the years. They met in 2018 at the Women Build Nations conference in Seattle.
She was one of them that I really kind of connected with or was, hit it off with. She was nice.
And to their surprise, these two familiar faces ended up working together on the expansion project at the Spokane Tribe Casino.
We had our laughs, our stories and everything, and we always just had a great time. This might have been 2-3 weeks ago.
They became close, and that's why Missy's heart broke when she learned Anna died in the collapse Tuesday morning.
The confusion of everything that went on at that moment, and everybody, we were just all in shock.
She remembers the last conversation she had with Anna earlier that morning. She told Missy the crew is impressed by her work, a big compliment for a woman in a male-dominated industry.
She says you're a good carpenter. They really like you, and she let me know. She let me know all of that. It made me feel good, it made me feel happy, like, cool.
That's just who Anna was, always supporting fellow crew members and encouraging her union sisters to stick with it. Those last words of encouragement will be a memory Missy will always cherish from the familiar face she met years ago.
This week is also National Women in Construction Week. It celebrates women in the construction industry. Now, Missy tells me this week means something more personal for her now. She hopes to inspire other women in the industry, just as Anna had. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Anna Vetter's parents and husband were here tonight, along with dozens of other people who knew her, loved her, and respected just how hard she worked each day. We also heard from a man who was right next to Anna when she lost her life. Those who worked alongside Anna Vetter over the years say she never complained about doing the hard work or lifting the heavy things. She even volunteered to help out at the union on her days off.
I'll be honest, I'm still in a little shock. Here 2 Saturdays ago, she was over there right in that corner helping paint this hall.
Tonight, inside the Carpenters Local 59 building, tradespeople honored the 27-year-old killed at the construction site of the Spokane Tribe Casino expansion. They all agreed Anna was tough as nails, but always had a smile on her face, even during early morning meetings.
You blazed a path of love and light into this sometimes not so welcoming industry.
Anna's husband sat in the front row alongside her mom and dad.
As a parent, you know how special your children are. And it's just, I'm so grateful that she found a path to this type of work. I mean, it just made her come alive.
She loved what she did, so I'm so grateful. She had all these people supporting her all the time.
Anna was proudly sworn in at Local 59 shortly before her death.
The true reality is you can't ever be prepared for death to grab you or the ones you're working with.
Brady Devins was working with Anna, standing next to her when it happened.
The ground beneath her feet opened up like a trapdoor and she was gone, as all we could do was watch in disbelief. In that moment, her light had fallen into the darkness, her hands reaching for anything to grab.
While there's still plenty of questions about what happened that day, there's no question that Anna was one of a kind.
Her dues are paid, her books are closed.
In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
The The night of February 3rd was one of the scariest moments of Daniela Padilla's life. She says a man she didn't know tried to force himself inside her apartment. She's grateful to be okay and wants to share her story so this doesn't happen to someone else.
Daniela Padilla moved into her Pullman apartment in August, excited to kick off the upcoming school year at Washington State University. The PhD student from Chile is studying molecular biosciences. One night on her way home from the gym, she says she noticed something unusual. A faded black car parked outside her apartment with the engine running and the trunk left open.
I didn't think much of it. I just kept walking.
Daniela opened her apartment door, and then out of nowhere, she says a man appeared behind her and tried forcing his way inside.
As soon as I saw him, I pushed my weight on the door, and he was grabbing the knob, right? And he kept ringing the bell, forcing the door, so the door was moving hard.
She's convinced he was trying to kidnap her because of his behavior and the suspicious car parked outside.
It was like he's there to get something and go as soon as he can.
A few days after reporting this to Pullman police, Daniela posted what happened on Facebook as a warning to the Pullman community, hoping no one else would feel the same fear.
I was like, no, this is not happening to me. This is not happening to me. And I was really scared that I was gonna die.
Now, a month later, Pullman Police Commander Aaron Brashear says they followed up on numerous tips that did not pan out. And so far, investigators have not found any evidence to corroborate Daniela's story.
Maybe he could have been, under the influence of something.
Daniela is still uneasy about that night. She has no plans on returning to Pullman and is hoping to pursue her PhD elsewhere. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Nick Swain was applauded the moment he walked into tonight's meeting and the moment the Board of Trustees voted to reinstate him as president following a judge's order. The board also voted to put interim president Greg South on paid administrative leave. Last December, the board put Swain on administrative leave, but not for any disciplinary reasons. He filed a lawsuit against the college to get his job back. While many students were happy with tonight's outcome, they're still worried the college could lose accreditation. The Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities has given NIC until March 13th to send a report detailing why they should keep their accreditation.
I love this school so much, and I don't want to see it fall, and it feels like it is with the accreditation things, and having Nick Swain back and having one president, which we're still working towards, but I have faith now that will push us more towards maintaining our accreditation.
And we spoke to President Swain right after tonight's meeting. He said he wanted to comment, but his attorney advised him not to at this time as he is still in a lawsuit against NIC. In Coeur d'Alene, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
The school's accreditation is on the line, and a deadline for NIC to respond is just a week away. The school has until March 13th to file a report on why it should keep that accreditation. The NWCCU details more than a year's worth of actions it says don't comply with its standards or requirements for accreditation, including the firing of then-President Rick McLennan in September 2021. From there, we fast forward to November 2022, when North Idaho College's attorney resigned and was replaced with attorney Art McComber. NIC President Nick Swain took issue with the hiring process, which he warned was against the board's recruitment and hiring policies. Days later, December 8th, the Board of Trustees voted to place President Swain on administrative leave, but not for any disciplinary process. Swain filed a lawsuit on December 16th, and a day later, the NWCCU sent NIC a warning. It cited NIC was at risk, in part because of ongoing lawsuits against the school, frequent changes in leadership that went against school policies, as well as declining enrollment and staff turnover. On February 9th, the NWCCU sent a show cause letter, the last step before the school loses accreditation. NIC now has until March 13th to send a report detailing why it should keep its accreditation. So what does this potential accreditation loss mean? For one, students wouldn't qualify for federal financial aid and their credits would no longer transfer. Plus, this is expected to result in job losses if it goes through and a hit to the regional economy. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Well, that company is called Zoom, and it's already being used in districts in Seattle, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Their buses will be taking Spokane kids to school as early as this August. Brand new buses and better technology. Those are just some of the reasons Spokane school board members approved a 5-year contract with Zoom and chose to part ways with Durham School Services as their contract comes to an end. Every 5 years, SPS is required to get bids for transportation services. Durham and Zoom were the only two companies to make it to the final round. Durham did provide a lower annual bid estimate, but Zoom scored higher overall with references and in panel interviews. Board members were impressed with the technology the company brings with it. A single app will let parents know when the bus is coming, when their child arrives at school, and when they're headed home.
A parent always wants to know where their kid is, and we recognize that. And so that was, I know, something that was a priority for us going into this process, and something we're really excited about, that there will be technology in place to really create that type of linkage for our families to know where their students are at any given time when they're riding our transportation.
The district's transportation panel also recommended Zoom because of the company's sustainability commitment. Zoom says its fleet is 100% carbon neutral, and they plan to add more electric vehicles in the future. The nation is still facing a driver shortage, and many parents have complained about Durham dropping their kids off at school hours after the first bell. SPS says they still have less drivers than before the pandemic, but are making progress. In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
A bag ban in Washington state means most of us are used to bringing our own bags into the store when we shop. But when you do forget your reusable bag, you can usually find plastic ones available to purchase at checkout. One viewer said she was told that Walmart was getting rid of its plastic bags. Is that true, she asked. Let's verify. Our sources are Walmart and the Washington State Department of Ecology. Washington's single-use plastic bag ban went into effect in October of 2021. It means stores cannot provide single-use plastic bags but can offer paper or reusable plastic bags for an 8-cent fee. Many stores like Walmart made those reusable plastic bags available for customers to purchase. But now we can verify that Walmart is getting rid of those plastic bags. In an email, the company said, beginning Tuesday, April 18, 2023, Walmart stores in Washington will no longer provide plastic bags at checkout or pickup. Delivery orders, however, will still use paper bags. Walmart has already stopped providing plastic bags in 6 other states, along with Canada and Mexico. So we can verify, yes, Walmart is going to stop providing plastic bags at checkout in Washington state. If you had something you'd like verified, email me at verify@krem.com.
Spokane police believe these cameras will help officers recover stolen vehicles more quickly and help detectives solve violent crimes.
Vehicle-related crimes are one of the most common in Spokane, and their rates continue to climb. Last year, Spokane had nearly 1,800 vehicle thefts, a jump from 1,100 in 2021.
And it tells me that there needs to be this type of innovative effort into combating those crimes.
Corporal Nick Briggs says SPD wants to address these soaring rates with help from a few watchful eyes. The department is proposing to do this with the purchase of 15 cameras from Flock Safety for an auto theft prevention pilot project. These cameras collect images of license plates and vehicle make and models. Their software compares the license plate numbers with lists of stolen vehicles, suspect vehicles, and those connected to amber or silver alerts.
This type of technology really is that kind of force multiplier. It allows us to be much more efficient, solve crimes more quickly, get potentially violent people off the streets more quickly.
The proposal says 2 cameras will be mobile units, while 13 will be permanently installed in areas with the busiest streets. SPD has already identified several potential locations for the cameras spread across the city and at its borders. There are about 2 to 3 locations identified in each council district.
Cameras are always a concern around people's privacy.
Councilmember Betsy Wilkerson was against SPD's mobile security unit, which City Council approved last month. But because these cameras capture images of public roadways and not people, they are a tool that she can support.
I think it's a good thing. They're at high locations where there's lots of traffic, where it can make an impact. They're not in neighborhoods.
The effectiveness of the project will be evaluated for a year. SPD will track the number of recovered stolen vehicles and the impact the cameras have on solving violent crimes.
Now, the $46,000 purchase of these cameras would be covered by grant funding. And to be clear, this pilot project is still in the early discussion stages and still needs City Council approval before it goes forward. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Both bills, House Bill 1363 and Senate Bill 5352, are companion bills, but their results so far are anything but.
Here's what happened. House Bill 1363 essentially died Tuesday after House Republicans failed to get a House floor vote.
Madam Speaker, there are 38 yeas, 57 nays, 3 excused.
The motion is not adopted.
Then just over 24 hours later,
Mr. President, there are 26 yea, 23 nay.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed Senate Bill 5352 is declared pass.
its companion, Senate Bill 5352, narrowly passed Wednesday before the 5 p.m. deadline when it would have been considered dead. This all comes 2 years after state lawmakers passed legislation limiting police pursuits. The limitations were controversial at the time, and several law enforcement agencies across the state have said it hurts their ability to fight crime. Under current law, officers need evidence to chase after someone in most cases. They also need authorization from their supervisor to start a pursuit. The Senate bill would change requirements so officers could start a pursuit with reasonable suspicion. In addition, law enforcement would need to notify a supervisor before starting a pursuit. Senator Jeff Holy of Cheney is one of the sponsors of the bill. He previously worked in the Spokane Police Department as an officer and detective.
The checks and balances were so great as to prevent the problems that we're addressing here, trying to address by having this underlying bill that we found out is ineffective and it's not doing what we need to do.
During a media briefing Thursday, Governor Jay Inslee shared he hopes the House considers and passes the Senate bill.
I think that some changes on adjusting that needle of where we set it on police pursuits, realizing there's always some danger of pursuits, but there's also a danger of further criminal conduct as well.
And Senate Bill 5352 now passes on to the House. In the studio, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
It's been nearly 2 years since Governor Jay Inslee signed the Climate Commitment Act into law. Its goal is to curb statewide carbon emissions by making the state's largest CO2 emitters by pollution allowances at quarterly auctions. The idea is that will incentivize producers to find and use cleaner ways to produce energy.
So all in all, over time, we don't think there'll be a big impact on prices at the pump or customer prices.
That's Luke Martland with the Department of Ecology, the agency tasked with implementing the new law. We asked him if it's already leading to higher prices at the pump, as many critics have warned.
So in your view, first a year, you didn't see gas prices in Washington increase as a result of this new bill?
Well, we've seen prices increase, as I said, nationwide and in the state. We've all noticed that. But we think that's the result of many factors, including factors that have nothing to do with the Cap and Invest program.
He estimates any gas price increase tied to the CCA will be at around 1 to 3%. So for context, I went to Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com. The company tracks and monitors gas prices at the nation's 150,000 gas stations.
Up to this point, though, have you seen anything that suggests that's already happening in Washington?
No, nothing I've seen to suggest it just yet. Once the first round of auctions occur, that's when the price will likely start being passed along to consumers, as it likely will cost refineries more to emit pollution.
Because the Department of Ecology sort of rushed this, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that weren't put in place.
That's
And
Todd
so that
Myers with the
uncertainty
Washington Policy Institute, a public policy think tank. He has been critical of the law. He says consumers are already being hit. Now, to be clear, the first auction just happened last week. However, Myers says right now producers don't know what to expect, so they are charging more in anticipation of future cost increases.
In the same way that you do withholding on your paycheck now so that you have the money available next April 15th, they are charging taxes now so that when the tax actually has to get paid to the state, they have it on hand. So it's very common practice.
So we asked Martland with Ecology why suppliers were already charging more even before the first pollution allowance auction took place. A KREM 2 viewer reached out to say they have been hit with surcharges for their home heating oil. And another viewer who runs a farm south of Spokane says his gas and diesel supplier started charging him a fuel surcharge, citing the new law.
And he claims his supplier is charging him 50 cents more per gallon and citing Washington's new cap and invest bill as a result of that surcharge. I wonder your thoughts on that.
Well, we've had communications and we've been in touch with folks like that also, farmers, small business people that have been hit by these surcharges. And it really causes us concern. But we don't control what the oil companies charge.
Martland believes surcharges are not warranted, especially for farming and maritime businesses, which are exempt from the law.
And we don't think there should be any surcharges put on those fuels as a result.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Hi, my name's Brenda. I live here in Indian Trail neighborhood. We've been without our library a year and a half for sure. I am so excited for this. I've been going to Shayla, which is a beautiful library, but it's a little inconvenient to get to. My children and grandchildren are here. We're very excited about opening, and it's beautiful. Look at it.
Wow, play with me?
My daughter was just saying that this enclosed space over here for the little ones is awesome because it's open in the other libraries, so the children just crawl right out. So she's excited that she can put her daughter in there and she won't escape so easily.
Guess what I can
do? We continue to demonstrate that by listening to the diverse needs of our community and being responsive to what is heard, that great things like this can happen.
What other animals did you see in there, buddy? Did you see a marmot maybe? Did you say I saw some marmots?
I saw some almonds.
Well, I'm just so grateful the library's open again.
The Spokane Chiefs play here at the Spokane Arena for 34 games a season, which doesn't really give them time for anything else. But thanks to a partnership with Spokane Community College, they're now able to get an education.
From the ice to the classroom.
I have both links in this announcement.
Mac Rose is one of 12 Spokane Chief players that heads to a college class before hockey practice.
Yeah, I think the guys kind of all bought into it, and I think it was a really good opportunity for us to really gel together.
This is the first season that the Spokane Community College is offering the 5-credit course.
We're all about developing players not only on the ice, but off the ice.
That's Mark Miles, the president for the Spokane Chiefs.
And every one of them was ecstatic that we were making this mandatory, we were doing this, we were continuing the education for the players that are done with high school, and they're not just sitting around focusing on hockey.
When the Chiefs approached Spokane Community College for an English class, they welcomed the idea with open arms.
Oh, that's an easy one. Look at theirs. Obviously, with English being a pretty tough university class, I think it would definitely set me back, especially because I'd have to wait 3-4 more years to even do that class.
Gwen Cash James, the dean for the College of Arts and Sciences, says the college is offering one English 101 class twice a week for the Chiefs.
I think that the whole point of a community college is to be part of the community. The Chiefs are a big part of the Spokane community.
Class is held at the Spokane Arena, so they don't have to commute to the college.
If it doesn't work...
So it's good to get in the routine of doing your homework, doing some school, and then also hanging out with the guys and and the hockey aspect as well.
For some players, it's more than just keeping their brain at work.
Kind of takes off the load for when I'm done playing in the WHL, and it's been fun. I mean, Larry's made it really easy for us and made it really accessible for us when we're on the road trip and stuff.
A welcome break in the classroom until the next time they drop the puck.
So Chiefs players will continue meeting here for 2 days a week till the end of the season, and many of them hope to be back in the classroom next year. In Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
And 2. And up 3. My name is Avery Denny. And 4. Grand plie. I dance here at Company Ballet School. 6. 7. My mom danced when she was younger, and then she started teaching tap around the time that I was born. I've grown up dancing all around the house, and then so she put me in lessons when I was 2, and I've been dancing ever since. I did my first competition when I was 7, but I didn't get serious about ballet and doing ballet competitions until about 14.
Susu 5, Day Tournée. My name is John Amal. I'm owner-director of Company Ballet School here in the Spokane Valley. Avery is a really delightful girl and works incredibly hard for everything that she receives.
At finals, you get the chance to be seen by the biggest names in the ballet world, like ballet masters, choreographers from all over the world. The goal is to be seen by somebody, and hopefully they'll take me into their company as a trainee or apprentice, and I go from there. And it's kind of the opportunity of a lifetime, the chance to be seen by all those people. It's something that could really jumpstart my career, especially at my age.
I think Avery has a very bright future. It's pretty exciting to take her again, especially this year being 17 now. The opportunities are really valuable now moving forward for her.
Once you get there, the work's already been done, so there's only so much you can do. I just try to enjoy myself as much as possible while I'm on stage. I mean, it's only 2 minutes of performance, and so I just try to leave it all on the stage.
Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories in the past week in Spokane and the rest of the Inland Northwest. For the most up-to-date news throughout the weekend, you can watch our very latest newscast right here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for them in the bottom navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.